Hello and welcome. My name is Kata. I am talking today about some observations that I've had within my own life just this year so far in 2022, since the year has begun. There's been a lot of very intense astrology when it comes to the stars and in terms of how the stars influence us. So I know that has played a massive role, obviously, in all of our lives. I want to just kind of hone in though on like the individual journey, right? Because we can see how collectively we are affected by the astrology in general, but you got to kind of look at just your own life as well and sort of separate yourself a little bit and just see what the astrology has brought up for you and what kind of changes it has brought in. So I have my journal here. I was doing some journaling this morning and I realized this was something important to talk about because we're all going through our own individual journeys, right? We're all going through our own experiences and having different experiences in order to learn and to grow. Now, most of the experiences that make us grow are the ones that are difficult, the ones that are extremely challenging, and especially when it comes in like succession. And what I mean by that is when a bunch of bad shit happens, like just really simultaneously back to back, in a very short amount of time, there's usually what I'm recognizing in my own life is that it's like everything is kind of getting dense because there's going to be this huge like release. So as everything starts to get denser, all of a sudden that density is already the prelude. It's already, like a premonition sort of to what's coming. And what's coming is massive expansion. Because usually when you experience a bunch of shit like back to back to back, like you keep getting pummeled, or what feels like getting pummeled by the universe, then those things are really forcing you to change, to grow, and to stretch yourself in ways that you have not done before. And all of the challenges that have come in are the tests to see if you're capable of that growth, to see if you're capable of expanding. So I'm going to say the time period I wrote down for myself personally and is the time period that everything happened for me. So I'm going to list a whole bunch of stuff that went down. And I think I feel like I'm missing stuff. I don't even have a full list here. I think there's some other shit that happened that it must not have been that, impactful because I can't remember right now. But anyway, between January 4th and March 15th, and if you think about January 4th to March 15th is like a span of, let's say, like say 10 weeks. In the last 10 weeks, 6 to 10 weeks, I don't know, somewhere in there. Maybe not even 10 weeks actually. Yeah. So it started off, the year for me started off with 3 weeks of COVID. So I was sick as a dog. This was like literally like the next day after my daughter's birthday. I wasn't feeling well, and then it hit, and then from that point on I was out for the rest of the month. So that's how January went down for me. All of January I was sick with COVID and just trying to recover, trying to get my sense of smell back and all that good stuff. And then February came. Then in February, and then at the very end of January, after getting COVID and finally getting over COVID and stuff, and actually even during COVID, there was a couple of disagreements with a family member. So I definitely had a big disagreement with a family member. Then in February, that happened again. So there was a second fight with the same person or argument. Then I had, let me see here. I didn't put everything in order, so I guess it doesn't matter. But like I had the soap spill happen. So I had 4 liters or 5 liters of dish soap pour into my trunk. Took me 2 weeks to run around and try and get different quotes and stuff from different car dealerships and car detailing places to get the soap obviously cleaned out. It was a faulty product, so like faulty packaging. Yeah, so that happened. that was a fun one. So I finally got that eradicated. So what else? So I had the 2 fights. I had COVID for 3 weeks. I got a speeding ticket for $140 on the first day that I was actually going to a spa, the first day that I was actually going out to do something for myself, after, 2.5 years of basically being locked in and not being able to do much. That was my first outing. I got a speeding ticket for $140, so my spa day immediately, doubled in price. I had a very interesting blowout with a client as well, which was a massive catalyst to something else, which I will talk about later. I broke my closet door. I got hit in the face by my 3-year-old nephew with a stick, like right across the nose and here. So I had like, a bit of an issue on my face for a little bit, and it was extremely painful. I could barely even like rub the tip of my nose. The whole cartilage, everything was just so sore from the hit. I also had a pervert client come that I had to deal with, who was highly inappropriate. What else? Yeah, that's kind of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so roughly within about 6 weeks, or anywhere between 6 and 10 weeks, I don't know the exact math at the moment, I had about 9 to 10 not good things happen. Like really fucking tough. Oh my god, it was like I finally just recovered from COVID. It took really a while for my energy to come back, like it just, I don't know, like it was different than, any previous flu that I've had. So it just, my body recovered different too. And like I said, I was just tired for longer and worn out and drained and stuff. And then, while I was feeling all of those things, it simultaneously, like all this shit just kept happening. And I was beginning to realize that at some degree I'm massively manifesting a lot of this shit in my life. And actually I was manifesting it in my life. And if I look at the reason now, because you would say like consciously, like who in their right mind would manifest a bunch of shit for themselves, right? We don't do these things consciously. That's the thing. All of this had to happen. It's like it all transpired because every single situation was like just adding pressure, adding pressure. It was just like another little stone on the pile, another little stone. And eventually, right, like the camel's back breaks, because that's what happens. Eventually we can't take it. Eventually we buckle under the pressure of life, of just problem after problem, and having to constantly problem solve and finding solutions, and then on top of that, trying to do much of that sorting out on your own, because there isn't really anyone that can solve these things for me. And these were all things that I had to go through myself. Just not having the help though, or the support necessarily, made it that much harder. But you know what? Like again, everything that happened was, I see so clearly that it was for my purpose. It really was for my highest good, because it pushed me to where I am sitting today. And I am in a very, very different place today. Oh, I didn't even mention, the other family member that I had an issue with. So what I noticed from all of these circumstances, they're all very different things. But when I look at sort of like the root cause, and I start digging into why I experienced all of these different things, well, the blowout with the client and then having the perv client, there's 2 separate occasions where I had interactions with clients that were very toxic. And it was very useful for me to experience that, because the perv client just kind of reaffirmed what I was already feeling. And then the other person, that last kind of straw, the other client ended up just becoming the catalyst for a conversion, for a change to happen within myself. And that was wonderful. That was so great. And I'm actually super appreciative now of the whole thing playing out the way it did. I'm so glad. I really am, because I think I would have been stuck for so much longer had this not just kind of kicked my ass in the right direction. And that's what we have to realize, people, is sometimes we really need that kick in the right direction, because it's hard for us to get going on our own. It can be very challenging to overcome yourself and to see clearly where you're fucking up in life, and where you need to change, and where you hold yourself back, and where you keep yourself small, and where you keep yourself people pleasing. Like, these are the things that we have to observe within ourselves. And this is exactly what I have observed within myself, going through shit after shit after shit. because it wasn't easy. But every single time, and I was just like, by the end of it, I was really getting like pissed at the universe at first. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why? What have I done to deserve this? And then, you know what? I got my answer. I got my answer because the universe showed me. Kata, you deserve so much more. You deserve so much more. Allow these things, these circumstances that have come up, allow them to show you what needs to fall away. Allow them to clearly point you in the direction that you need to go. See the situations for what they are. And don't just focus on the negative, and don't just focus on like feeling like a victim about it. Because at first I felt like a fucking victim. I'm like, Jesus, like how much more negative shit can possibly happen within a 6-week period? Like, it was mind-blowing. But simultaneously so fucking healing and motivating and inspiring and like insane. I am changed on the inside because of all of the negativity that I just went through. And it has brought me to a place within myself where I feel like I have power again over my own life and over my own heart and over my own choices and over everything, like situations and stuff. I have power in these situations. I just didn't see it. And actually, in certain situations, I did see it. And I did use it because the perv client, I handle that like, well, my ego wants to handle it even tougher, but on a soul level, I'm feeling good about how I handled it because I only said one thing to him and he fucking knew. In that moment, he knew that I am onto you, asshole. And I know exactly what you're here for. And I know exactly what your intentions are. I know every single thought in your head right now. Because I could see through it. It was like reading an open book. And it was awesome. Because I had one response for him, and that was enough. And I guarantee you, that fucker will never call my phone again. I guarantee you that. He will never try to book an appointment with me again. And that's the kind of power, ladies, I want you to bring back. And gentlemen, if you're one of those people and you allow women to push you over, that's the kind of power that I want to motivate you to bring back within yourself. Because when the shit keeps hitting the fan, it's hitting the fan so that you can change the fucking fan's direction and stop getting it to blow in your face. That's why it's happening. So turn the fan so that it can blow in somebody else's, or like in just in a different direction. Don't just take it. Because that's the thing, every single one of these. And the other client too who disrespected me. Holy shit, man. I was so proud of myself because I handled that well too. I was professional, but at the same time, I professionally told her to fuck off because that's what she deserved. And I excuse my intensity today. Mars and Uranus are partying in the skies and I can feel it. But that's okay. It's like it's lighting this fire under my ass that's just telling me like, yes, I can breathe within myself again. Like I feel the power returning to me. And it's because of all of this. It's because of going through all of these things. Because I was able to observe all of the imbalances within myself as a result of all of the negative happening. Because negative only happens to you when you are not in balance. And I was not in balance. And that's why it kept happening. So I see it. And the more I work on that balance, and the more I say no, and the more I set up boundaries, and the more I push back, and the more I say fuck you to disrespectful people, the more that I am in my power. So today, find your power. And if somebody crosses a line, you know what you need to say. And say it with confidence, with assertiveness, and with power. Say it. Love you guys.